Welcome, welcome. I'm, oh my God, I want to literally destroy the world right now. I'm in hell. Secondly, all right, let me just do this so that it's up there. I have no time to make a different video. I watched Loki season two, and how do I break it down for people that don't know the comic book? So, from Loki season one, uh, one of his variants killed. I forgot his name. One of his variants killed the guy at the end of time because he was holding on time. Killed him. Now season two starts. We're in a situation. It's in a sense we're at foobarred. All right. So I want to break down to those that don't know the comic book. Timelines are very, very difficult to explain only because it does make sense, but it's outside of everything else. For example, Cable. He's outside of the time stream because Jean Grey and Cyclops had Cable and sent them into the future, but yet he could transverse time like backwards. So, uh, the time stream gets a little mixed up, but he's him and Deadpool are probably the only people, and Bishop, I forgot Bishop, are the only people that can transverse time forward and backwards simultaneously, jumping around in timelines. So, with understanding for Marvel that aspect, they're the only three that can do that. That's it, as far as I know. They're the only ones. Those three characters can go forward and backwards in time, and one, well, Deadpool would mess up the time because he's crazy. The other two, Cable and Bishop, do they bounce forward and they don't mess up the time because I think they have like a gadget that's like on their belt that they could constantly jump in time. Now, for using timelines, I'm going to tell you this. DC hasn't broke down properly how to do timelines, and this is why we have Infinite Crisis, why we have Barry Allen, the Flash, doing what he does. They haven't fully figured out time travel, and that's why DC cannot figure out their time. They do it really well in the animated, but live action, they screwed up. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm a big science fan. So, time traveling. All right. If you're a speedster, someone that can move faster than light, if you move faster, you go forward, which means you could go to the future. Now, the downside, the repercussions, if you stop midway and come back, we as human civilization would have aged. So, which means from the time that it would take them to get back, for say example, you was 23, say hypothetically, there was a Superman. He went forward, fastest speed of light, and then stopped abruptly, came back, you would be let's say he went 5 years ahead, you'd be 5 years older. That's literally the idea of people that have if you had the power to do it, that's what would happen. If you went forward, if you flew 5 years fast forward and stopped and then came back 5 years, so that'd be a total of equivalent of 10 years. So you'd be 10 years older by the time, say, a Superman came back. That is what DC has to fix, at least for the storytelling that they need to do. You got to fix that. You did not explain that the Flash went to the past, tried to save his mom, but he altered everyone. This is why we have the video game Injustice. For that same reason, you went backwards because you got upset. You didn't want your mom to die, but you set certain things in motion and caused certain timelines. So now in Marvel, Marvel did one thing that was correct. There was one timeline, but there is multiple timelines. So the movies you see now is somebody took out the one guy, Kang, or for his character at the time of Loki, uh, the man at the end of time, or whatever his name is. You take him out, you cause fractures. So there is one timeline, but in Marvel, it caused a fracture, which is why multiverse, Doctor Strange in the multiverse, is you see the fracture. It opens up. So there's different timelines and different versions or different whatever you want to sit there and call it. It fractured. So the one good thing about Loki is it's keeping us grounded in the storytelling of they were trying to keep the one timeline. Same as like I brought up earlier, Cable. Cable came because they wanted to put him in the future because of his disease. It's not really a disease, but he has technovirus disease, whatever. That's why he's a metallic arm. But he is so powerful as one person that they sent him in the future, but then he came back because he got the script wrong because the timelines fractured. So in the comic books, fractured time causes one person to think that he's trying to save everyone else, but doesn't realize of the fractured time frame. So time works in a very weird way. So if you had to use science, and I bet if I had Ty, uh, Tyson on here, who's a physicist, he would literally explain to you like the way the way we perceive time doesn't equal out to the same way of time moving forward. Like he would explain it to you scientifically because he's a physicist. So our perception of time and how comic books work and only those three characters could move through time is it's more like a displacement. So Cable got sent to the future, but he also is part of the present because he should have been a child. But he got sent to the future, displacement works very differently. And because of the branches which we're seeing now, is Cable lives in a branch. That's why we have X Force. It was in a different branch. So when he came back, he created a whole different timeline. It's uh, I don't even know how to explain it to you guys. How time travel and time displacement works. Cable is technically a child of the present, but he was displaced purposely in the comic books. So it's kind of hard to explain uh time dysplasia. So what we live in is one timeline. So if I was able to travel into the future, I could only go into the future. But if I came back, I could only come back to the time that I left. Can never go back in the past. As far as science says, that's what it is. Can't do anything about it. So it's hard to sit there and create live action movies to 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 bring out what we want to see, but at the same time is for certain people to understand the continuity in a sense. I guess that's the best way I could say it. But we can never travel back in the past only to the time from when we left. That's, I think personally, the laws of science and whatever. Like I said, don't want to get all into it, but you could only leave from the point that you left and come back to the same point. Thing is, you could go to the future, and the only time you could come back to the past is if someone built a machine for you to use to come back. So, which means you could only leave from one point of when you left and go forward. Simple laws of science. That's the only way. Anything else, unless you're like great grandpa made a fucking time machine and you could use it in the future of yourself, and point you can't do it because it calls grandfathers. It means if you killed your grandfather, you would not. Science 101. I'm going to that. I did watch Loki season 2, episode 1. My rating is a 7. It's really crazy. If you're one of those, do it. I will try to do a video rundown, an actual video rundown to explain everything I said today. But I want to go live just so that it's up there. Watch it, love it. Uh, like, share, whatever. Dark one out.